know you know Dina Lohan from growing up.
Right. So this is how this came about. So Dina Lohan and I, when I was 17 years old, I grew up with Lindsay and I wanted to be in the entertainment industry. So they knew that I was funny from a very young age. Like Lindsay and Dina both said, I have a knack for comedy and and being in this industry, like as a talent. And they really brought me under their wing. So Dina hired me as Lindsay's assistant when I was 17 years old. And I worked for Lindsay and I traveled the world with her and I really was her right-hand woman as her assistant. And I grew my position from there internally with the family. I became close with the family, came very close with Dina, and then became Dina's executive assistant. So, you know, in life, in the industry, you have to earn your dues. So that's how when everybody asked me, how'd you even come into this industry? Before I was a producer, before I was an intern or PA, I was an assistant for actual big celebrities, getting every administrative thing right because I wouldn't be able to do anything else if I didn't do that first. So I learned from the best. I watched Lindsay acting. I learned behind the scenes stuff. I learned what it took to be a star, to make a star. Dina taught me too when she brought me under her wing, how to be coming from a manager and a producing point of view, how to come from a talent point of view. So she taught me, she gave me a break. Then we became very close. I went off to do my own stuff. I went to be a producer for many different talk show hosts and different reality stars and different celebrities. I've worked with a lot of people like Hugh Jackman and Paris Hilton and Kevin Bacon. And I started interviewing people my own because I said to myself, what do I really want to do with my life? I know I want to be a producer, but I also want to be a talent. I want to be like a Lena Dunham. That's like the perfect, I want to be like Issa Rae or Lena Dunham. That's like the perfect job for me, is being my own executive producer on my own thing that I produced and my own talent. So with that being said, I worked in the podcast world, had Dina on my podcast. We've always remained friends. We've always worked in different capacities together. We built a trust and we were so close. And I go to Dina, by the way, off the record, on the record for advice, whether it's on relationships, career.
She's a good one to go to.
She is amazing. Dude, she knows everything. She's smart. She knows how to like guide you the right way. She also was like my second mom. We joke like I'm her fifth child and she's like my second mom because that's the relationship dynamic. She came on my podcast on Chanel in the City. You got to check this interview out too, because she also opened up on that interview, which she doesn't open up on most, because she talked at least about the positive aspects of her life. See, a lot of people in the industry want to know the negative things about celebrities, whereas on my podcast, you get to know the positive side. So she appreciated that. We spoke about, now she's engaged. So we spoke about her then boyfriend, Jesse Nadler, who they thought was a catfish at the time, but is not. They're engaged now. They have a really amazing relationship for 6 years. And then I said to her, why don't we she wanted to get back into the podcast game because she felt like she does have a voice and she's been through all these things in life. And we both have been through similar things. Like, let's set the record straight about each other. Let's have guests come on to set the record straight about them. Let's talk about young kids in Hollywood making it too early and how do they cope with it with their parents later on. There was so much information to touch that we're like, we need a podcast. Got together. We're now producing it together. We're both co-EPs on it. She's the host. I'm the co-host. It's on iTunes and Spotify right now. It's called Listen to Me, the OG Mama D. Why is it called that? Because literally growing up, when I would go to Lindsay's house, her friends or me, or whether I was working for them, we would literally be like, what would Mama D do? Like, what would Dina Lohan do? Because she has the best advice. And that's how it came about. And now we are 3 episodes in. We had comments by celebs on our episode. We had Camp Getaway and the cast of Camp Getaway. And now we're having Kato Kaelin coming up. So I want you guys to check that out.
That's a good one.
And you know what we talk about a lot? Which is
we need Kato Kaelin here. You and I are going to have to trade guests after this.
We should. We're going to help each other.
Get used. Yeah.
Me and David are going to start being a team now, guys.
I love Chanel.
I love you. I want, for the record, I do.
I've always loved you. We had a moment of not loving each other.
Yeah.
But in
life. You know what? I'm happy you said the truth in the beginning of your podcast. You're a real one. You said in life, that happens. People, real friends get into fights and they talk it out and they move on.
No one's dead. No one has cancer over this. Like, just, there's way bigger problems we all have to face each day. Okay, so you need to come back on. We'll wrap it up, but you need to come back on and talk more about...
did you want to talk about Camp Getaway or something about Camp Getaway? You want to save it?
Save that, but I do want to talk about Dina and her wedding.
Yes.
right? Like Dina's engaged now.
She's
I assume you're going to be invited to the wedding. You're a family friend.
Yes, so I'm definitely going to be invited to the wedding. We're still figuring out if I'm going to be one of the bridesmaids,
Oh my God.
but you'll hear that out on the show, or I'll come back on your show to confirm that. But I am invited definitely, and the wedding hopefully will be soon. The one thing I could tell you is that they are planning on doing it in the Hamptons, where her fiance originally wants to get married in.
That's a good place.
You can listen on our podcast on the details how he proposed, because I don't know how that happened yet. I'm waiting for that. But I do know it was virtually. I do know he sent the ring in the mail, which was very sweet.
Oh my God.
And he picked it was a beautiful ring. I mean, it's gorgeous. They've been together for 6, almost 7 years virtually. That to me is such a great relationship. Yeah, they've been together almost 7 years.
Have they met in person?
They have not met yet once.
Oh, I mean, maybe I should know this, but oh my God.
So when they meet physically, that will be the first time they're meeting. So their relationship, how beautiful is it, was always based on real friendship and real actual like friendship. Yeah, it was based on real friendship.
I said at the beginning of quarantine.
I'm so happy for her. She is so happy. You have no idea. She is beyond the most happiest she's ever been in her life.
Where does this guy live? He lives in the Hamptons, or
he's from California, or he lives in California. That's what I know. And I know that they're really close. They talk every day, 5 times a day. I know that he proposed to her in a very romantic way. And because we're here during COVID, quarantine, we're only in phase 2, so nobody can see each other. I know that he's also caring for his mother, who's very ill, unfortunately. So he's like an amazing son.
I was going to say, that's a good representation.
And he's real, by the way. He's real. There's pictures of him. He's been in the press. Like, he's a good guy.
Do people think he's not real? Do people tell Dina, like, this is a catfish?
In the Celebrity Big Brother house, they were worried because she had not met him. They wanted to make sure he's not a catfish. But Ned Schulman confirmed that he's not a catfish. From Catfish himself.
That's as good as it gets.
That's as good as it gets.
By the way,
this engagement, by the way, is real and is great. And the details, I will let you know how he proposed. She will be talking about it on the podcast in the next episode coming out. When the wedding details will be, like where it will be, how it will be. I mean, it's going to be small. It's not going to be a big wedding. It's going to be a very intimate wedding. And with her closest friends. And she's maybe you'll be my +1 if I get to have a +1.
I'm so there.
I'm bringing my gay husband. I ain't bringing no straight guy.
No.
With all due respect to the straight guy community to a wedding like this, honey.
Listen, Chanel, A, I'll be your +1. B, maybe you will have a boyfriend by then, but if not.
Maybe. We got to get them jealous. You're good looking. So you're going to have to make them think that you're my straight guy.
I'll come with you. Yeah, I'm sure I can pose as straight.
The best wingmen are bringing your gay men. Guys.
It's true, because I'll get you laid if that's what you want.
And you'll get laid too.
I will, right? I'll find one of the waiters, and I'll find you a real.
You'll find like a hot ass, man who's rich and cool and kind. It's not about money. It's just about.
It's not. You don't
need the money.
I wish it was about money. That would be so much easier.
Actually, it'd be so much easier if it was.
It's not about money. Yeah. It's about a good person.
It's about a good person who you can
trust.
Who you can trust. Attractive in general, yeah.
Yeah, like really, I need to trust you, and you need to not be dumb, and just be attractive. Just keep something up. Just keep it up a little bit, not even a lot. Just be like somewhat together. That's
Honestly,
not asking a lot.
One thing I always go to Dina for advice with relationships, because I think she's handled this relationship so well, is that like my ex-boyfriends always told me I was very clingy. I never really, even though, I have such a life, like our lives are so busy, but I always made time for them, that they always felt like I never, like my life always revolved around them. So one piece of advice I got from Dina and I could give to people is that like, in order to keep a man, like you said, they don't want drama. They don't want you to divulge everything to them all the time or how you feel about them all the time. Like sometimes there's things that you have to keep sacred to yourself and work it out on your own,